Let me start by offending your illusions. Kindness alone will destroy you. You've been told since childhood that being good is enough. That if you work hard, stay humble, and keep your heart pure, the world will somehow notice. But here's the first brutal revelation. The world doesn't reward purity. It exploits it. And if you keep confusing goodness with strategy, life will keep using you as fertilizer for other people's success. Ask yourself, how many times have you apologized just to keep the peace and lost respect instead? How many times have you stayed silent to avoid conflict and became invisible? How many times have you given your best only to be treated like you gave nothing? That's not bad luck. That's a psychological law. People value what challenges them, not what comforts them. The moment you make yourself too available, too forgiving, too eager, they stop seeing your value. You were taught to be liked. But those who are liked are rarely respected. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous. He didn't say that to insult humanity. He said it to prepare you. Because pretending people are angels doesn't make them good, it just makes you blind. Virtue without cunning is weakness. Goodness without defense is bait. You've been conditioned to think power corrupts. But it's not power that corrupts, it's helplessness. Power simply reveals what was already inside. If you were kind before, true power only gives your kindness teeth. Here's the truth polite society hides. The world doesn't care if you're right. It cares if you're useful. It doesn't follow the good. It follows the convincing. That's why people worship confidence, not competence. They follow whoever appears certain, even when they're wrong. Because perception is oxygen, and most people would rather breathe lies than suffocate in doubt. So learn the game. It's not enough to be good. You must look powerful doing it. Move slowly. Speak rarely. Hold eye contact an extra second longer. Never over-explain, never over-apologize. Say less, and watch how silence makes others lean forward. You don't need to lie. You just need to edit what's true. Control perception, or be controlled by it. Because in human behavior, perception is reality. Naive people overshare and call it honesty. They reveal everything, their plans, their emotions, their wounds. They believe that transparency creates trust. It doesn't. It creates leverage for the other side. Information is power, and you're giving it away for free. Machiavelli said, "A prince must learn to conceal his intentions, not because deception is noble, but because exposure is fatal." Strategic silence is not withholding truth. It's protecting it until the moment truth has impact. Powerful people use silence like sculptors use marble. They carve shape from restraint. Here's your new discipline. Speak half as often. Listen twice as deeply. Say just enough that others reveal themselves trying to fill the silence. He who speaks the least commands the most. Because silence creates uncertainty, uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity creates control. Control your emotions, or someone else will. Every outburst, every angry reaction, every defensive word is a confession of weakness. The moment they can trigger you, they can steer you. True strength isn't stoic numbness, it's emotional precision. It's the ability to feel without broadcasting, to observe without reacting, to bleed without showing it. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must act with coldness and calculation. Because emotion makes you predictable, and predictability makes you prey. If they can't read you, they can't trap you. And if they can't provoke you, they'll start fearing you. Remember this mantra: he who angers you owns you. Detach. Delay your reactions. Let people wonder what you think. Uncertainty is the highest form of power. Humans worship what's rare. What's scarce becomes sacred. What's always available becomes background noise. You taught others to take you for granted by being everywhere, for everyone, all the time. You thought your presence built loyalty, it built dependency. Powerful people understand absence is currency. They withdraw to raise their market value. They vanish, and the world takes attendance. Stop being oxygen. Start being fire. When you're always available, people inhale you without noticing. When you disappear, they choke on the silence. Don't fear being forgotten. Fear being taken for granted. Because what is abundant is despised, but what is scarce is desired. Goodness is not weakness. But goodness without wisdom is suicide. You don't need to abandon your morals, just weaponize them. Use empathy strategically. Be generous with standards. Forgive but never forget the data. Help others but measure the ROI of your kindness. Because good people aren't good when they enable abuse. They're just scared to stop it. The world doesn't respect kindness, it respects controlled power. Charity without boundaries is emotional bankruptcy. Virtue without intelligence is martyrdom. Machiavelli didn't tell you to become a monster. He told you to stop feeding them. Power dies in overexposure. The sun burns what it shines on too long. Every relationship, personal, professional, romantic, needs strategic distance. Not coldness, but calibration. Not disappearance, but rhythm. Withdraw when your presence stops being valued. Return when your absence has created hunger. That's how empires, lovers, and reputations survive, not through constant light, but through the dance of eclipse. If you vanish completely, they forget. If you appear constantly, they dismiss. The power lies in being just out of reach. People obsess over controlling others. The wise obsess over controlling perception. It's not about truth, it's about narrative. Reality is neutral. Meaning is manipulated. You can have all the talent in the world, but if others perceive you as uncertain, you'll be treated as irrelevant. Meanwhile, an average manipulator with theatrical confidence will lead armies. That's not injustice, that's psychology. So rehearse your presence. Edit your energy. When you enter a room, let your posture speak before your mouth does. People decide your value before you say a word. You can either shape that decision or suffer it. Everyone wants results now. The weak chase dopamine, the strong chase position. Machiavelli knew that fortune favors the patient. Not the idle, the patient. The one who observes, prepares, calculates, and strikes once. Think of a hunter. He doesn't shoot at movement, he shoots at certainty. Power isn't the ability to act fast. It's the ability to wait beautifully. Most people react because waiting feels like dying. They mistake stillness for stagnation. But stillness is the womb of strategy. When you master patience, you stop being impulsive and start being inevitable. You can't command the world if you can't command yourself. Establish your inner monarchy. Your mind must have a king, not a committee. Define your constitution. Your values are law. Your habits are enforcement. Your reactions are soldiers. If your emotions rebel, execute hesitation. If fear whispers, exile it with evidence. If doubt screams, silence it with repetition. You are both ruler and realm. Defend yourself from yourself first, and no external enemy will ever win. The system is built to devour the predictable. It runs on conformity. It feeds on people who react as expected. If you want to rise, become an anomaly. Walk slower when others rush. Speak softer when others shout. Think longer when others scroll. Detach when others panic. Anomalies are unforgettable because they interrupt the pattern. They make people wonder, who is this? And in that question, you seize their attention. The crowd obeys trends. Leaders obey timing. And legends obey no one. You were not born to be ornamental goodness. You were born to be useful, strategic, and sovereign. Repeat this quietly, not as affirmation but as declaration. I will remain kind, but I will never again be naive. I will speak rarely, but every word will land. I will be calm under fire and invisible in chaos. I will give without bleeding. I will forgive without forgetting. I will disappear when undervalued and return when my silence echoes. I will not chase respect, I will train it. I will no longer beg for fairness in a world built on leverage. I will become the anomaly the system can't digest. I will rule myself first, and everything else will follow. Power doesn't belong to the cruel. It belongs to the calm, to the disciplined, to the ones who can read human nature and still choose when to be human. So stop asking the world to change its rules. Learn to play them better. Learn to move quietly. Learn to hold your fire. Because power lives in the silence. And silence, when mastered, is the loudest language of all. Because if you made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started listening. Now you understand what Machiavelli truly meant, that the world isn't for the loud, it's for the strategic. If this rewired something in you, subscribe if you want more philosophy weaponized for real life.